Hello. Welcome to Unstoppable Entrepreneur Live, Season 2, Episode number 7. Today we are talking all about marketing necessities. Now, some of the things that I get asked a lot of the time is, how do I market myself online? How do I promote myself without feeling douchey? How do I promote myself in a way that feels good, that makes sense, where I don't feel like I'm being slimy and salesy and manipulative and all this type of stuff? And I guess I wanted to share with you a couple of, hey Jeremy, a couple of different ways of thinking about this stuff, a couple of different ways of phrasing it. And then we're actually going to get into the technical, this is what you need to do in order to get that happening. So the first part about all of this stuff that I want you to be thinking about is this. There are 1.86 billion people on Facebook. So if you've got one of those objections where you're like, no, I just don't know that my people are on Facebook. I don't think they're on there. They are. The good part about the Facebook platform from an advertising and marketing perspective is that your people are not on Facebook to do business. Okay, your people aren't on Facebook to do business. Your people are on Facebook killing time, being bored, checking up on their children, checking up on their grandchildren, checking up on their parents, doing all of that stuff, watching what the neighbors are doing. You know, they're being nosy, essentially, right? But most of the time, they're on there killing time. Think about it. How often do you pick up your phone or you get on your computer and you just kind of scroll and nothing else happens, right? You just sit there scrolling, and you look up, it's like, holy shit, that's half an hour's just gone, you know, oops, my bad. So people are on there killing time, finding out what everybody else is doing, and that means that you've got a really great opportunity to be able to capitalize, to be able to capture their attention and this type of thing. So the way that I approach marketing and the way that I would like you to think about marketing is that marketing is about building relationships with people. All right, it's about getting inside their head, helping them feel like they can understand you, feeling like you know your stuff. We want them to experience getting some kind of value from you before they even do anything else. All right, so marketing is a form of relationship building. Like the old school terminology is building that know you, like you, trust you pathway so that people can get to know you and then make a decision whether or not they like you, and then they'll make a decision around whether they trust you or not. And that's one of the best things. Now, we've got a ton of different ways that we can build that. If you think about it, probably without even thinking really too hard, we've got podcasting, Facebook page posts and videos. We've got your blog, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, we've got SoundCloud, we've got Pinterest, you've got, that's 7 just without even thinking about it, right? Then we've got the people who are on your emailing list that you can be emailing and building relationships with them through there as well. So it helps people to get a good solid feel for you, what you're all about, before they even get onto that process or like a sales process with you. And that's where marketing and advertising is different. Advertising is putting something out there with a specific intention to generate a lead or to generate an inquiry, right? And there's a call to action in there. So marketing is content building, relationship building, constantly, and this is a constant thing that you need to be doing, always putting yourself out there and helping people to see you. But then advertising is a very, very specific thing, and it's something where 99% of the time it's pay to play, right? So you pay to put an ad into a newspaper. For example, you pay, hey Joe, you pay to have an ad shown on TV. You pay to have your ad placed into a Facebook news feed. You might choose to post something on your page and then boost it, right? That's advertising. Marketing is all of the other stuff that we do that gets put out there in order to build your brand, to be able to build your authority, your expert status, and stuff like that. So Facebook Lives, for example, like there's no call to action on here. I'm not paying to play. This is marketing. Like I want you guys to get a feeling for what I'm all about and then make a decision. If you want to keep listening to me, that's great. And if not, then that's cool. You just press that end button and you're off, which is sweet. So, that's the difference. Marketing, most people who market themselves, like in all of the ways that we've talked about, are doing it because they're playing the long game. All right. And whereas advertising can be a bit more of a short game, or like it can be both. You play the long game and the short game. So how do you capitalize on all of that? So in my mind, what you need to be doing is you want to be omnipresent. Okay. In order for you to stand out amongst all of the noise and all of the stuff that is going on in people's news feeds, we need to be everywhere. I was chatting with a client last week, Jeremy, actually, who's on here this morning. And he's like, you've just kind of like, you're everywhere. I see you everywhere. And I'm like, that's my plan. So, we want to be omnipresent because people get distracted very, very quickly. People get captivated by other people very, very quickly. They see your thing and then within milliseconds, someone else has got something else in front of them, another piece of marketing that they can tap into. And then, another 20 seconds later, there's somebody else trying to talk to them about something else. So in order for you to be recognized and in order for you to be heard and for you to be seen, we've got to be omnipresent. So we want to be seen everywhere. Now, that's where your marketing comes in. Yeah, the advertising is a bit of a different beast. No matter what happens though, you want both of those strategies. So a marketing strategy and an advertising strategy. We want them to kind of dovetail together and blend, right? So this is where some of the tactical implementation becomes really important. So I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about how we do that. The first thing that we need to do is we need to create a funnel. Now, for those of you who aren't aware of what that is, we've got, imagine all of these people in Facebook, like are all just like milling around up over here, right? And we capture them and we gather some of their people's attention. So we kind of funnel them down and then we want them to do something. So we want to funnel them in ideally with a call to action. Now that call to action is going to be where you tell them what to do next, all right? So we've identified somebody's problem, which might be in, let's say that you're one of my clients and you're helping these children to learn better. You identify a problem, you start talking about it from a marketing perspective and or from an advertising perspective. And then you can give them a call to action, which might be, hey, I'm putting on this free webinar about how you can learn how to help your kids learn better. And that you put an offer in front of them. What you'll do is you'll ask them for their name and email address. Now, that is done on what's called a landing page. So it's a standalone, it looks just like a web page where they click on a button and they'll give you their name, email address, and sometimes a phone number in exchange for that free training or PDF or download or book or audio or whatever it is that you're doing. And that gets them then into your database. So if we think about it, no matter where it is that people find you, in an ideal world, we want them to have a way of being able to subscribe to you and get on your email database. Now, please don't say, join my email database and I will send you a newsletter every week. All right, like call it hints, tips, advice. Mine is often between the eyes. Like you give them a guide, give them something really specific because, hey, join my email list so I can send you a newsletter, like yawn. That's go to boring.com and we'll see a photo of how boring that is on there. Don't really do that, it doesn't exist. But, we want to do something that's different. Yeah, we want to do something that is captivating, that helps them. And let's face it, newsletters are boring for the most part. Okay, so we want to not call them that because we don't want them bored before they've even subscribed. So think about the big problem that your people are having that you can solve in order to help them, right? To help them to progress through to the next step, the next level. And that the problem that most people have about that is, yeah, but what do I freaking give away for free? Like, what do I do? What do I give then? How do I do that? This is where your niche becomes really important. So niching, in my opinion, is an absolute cornerstone and critical key to any of the marketing that you put out there. Now, you can probably help 1,000,001 people. You can probably help person A, B, C, and D. You can probably help men, you can probably help women, you can probably help people whether they're 18 or whether they're 85. And that's great. I don't want you to stop helping the people, okay? Keep helping all the people. But from your marketing perspective, I want you to think of maybe one person or a blend of a few different people. Now, why that becomes really important is it means that you can imagine, say you're doing a Facebook Live like this one, you can imagine that your person is sitting right behind the camera, like right there, and you're just talking to them. You're having a very specific conversation. You know exactly what that one person's problems are, what their dreams and their goals are, what their desires are. You know what keeps them awake at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know the stresses that they have. You know the things that they're dealing with their children, what they're thinking about when it comes to their vehicles, their partners, their bosses, their clients, whatever it is. You know the stuff that's going on through their head. And what it means from a marketing and from an advertising perspective is that it makes your life easier, right? It means that you are having one conversation with lots of the people, right? So if you can imagine, like right behind, so I'm on my phone this morning, right behind my camera is my office, and we could pretend that there's like 100 people like squished into this tiny office, and I'm just talking to them, I'm presenting to them, right? And I know what all of their problems are because they're a version of just one person. Now, where this becomes really, really cool is that when you create this niche of people, this ideal person that's a representative of who you want to work with, what happens is that there's like multifacets to that person, right? So if I'm imagining a ball with like lots of spikes coming off, okay? And like spike number 1, that is problem 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say that this ideal fictitious person that you're marketing to behind your camera has got 10 points around here. Now, somebody who has 3 resonation points out of the story that you're telling, hi Michelle, 3 of those points are going to be relevant to somebody else, and then 3 of the other points might be relevant to someone else. And I mean, the people who have commented so far, we've got Jeremy, Joe, Michelle. You guys are 3 very different people, right? 2 of you are women, 1 of you's a man. 1 of you rewires children's brains. 1 of you's a music teacher. Michelle, I don't know what it is that you do, but I'm sure you don't rewire children's brains, and maybe you're not a music teacher. But there are things from the 3 of you guys, like the 3 of you people, right now on here right now, that have got different resonation points, but you've still got some commonality between all of you. And that's where the power of niching really kicks in, okay? They all have a particular problem. And the particular problem that most of my people have is that they're not making the money that they want to make yet. Or they're not making it in the way that they want to make yet. Or they want to grow and they need that ass kicking in order to be able to get to where it is that they want to be. That's the stuff that links you guys all together, right? And the way that I can help you is by providing you with motivation, inspiration, and strategies and tools and systems and stuff like that. So the solution is also common between all of your people, right? But what it really does is it makes it so much easier for you to sit there and go, okay, this is who I'm talking to today. This is who I'm here to help. This is the problem that I'm solving. And then this is how they can access more help from me. Okay, so, and that's the way that we get them into your marketing funnel. Does that make sense, guys? Please just let me know that you're with me. All right, so the thing that you need to have in place of all of that, so you, in order for all this stuff to happen, we've got to have some tools. Awesome, thank you. We've got to have some tools in place and some systems in place in order for this to work. So, yes, you are going to need a landing page. Thanks, Jez. Yes, you are going to need a client record management system, commonly known as a CRM, commonly known as an email database, and there are a ton of different places that you can source that one from some that are free, some that are cheap, some that are not so cheap, and some that are really freaking expensive. So depending on where you're at in your business, you'll need a CRM. You will also need a way of capturing people's information by way of a landing page. All right, so that's the way that we do things these days. So if any of you have seen the webinars and stuff that I promote, then what happens is I give people a link, and this is what I want you to do. You'll give people a link, they'll go over to a landing page, and it will say that on there the thing that you're giving away, and maybe like the headline might solve a problem for them. You will ask for their name and email address, and when they click on that, that person will automatically go into your database, and they will automatically get the free training or get an email on how to access the training from you. All right. Then, so we need to have what I was saying. We need to have a landing page. You need to have a CRM. You've got to obviously know who your people are, because we want to give them something for free and solve their problems. So you need to have that ready and created. And then you're going to need to have a way of being able to communicate with them. So you've got to have that email strategy in place. Okay, so they're probably the big things that you need to have in order to be able to make this stuff work. Now, it can be complicated, it can be simple. I'm a huge fan of making things as simple as humanly possible. All right, because I think ain't nobody got time for complicated. And if we make things too complicated, then people kind of throw their hands in the air and they go, screw it, I'm done, I'm out of here. And then you're not going to reach the people that you want to help. And that really sucks. Really, really sucks. So there are things that you need to have in place. Now, a really big thing that I wanted to remind you guys of today is that just because you want to have a business online, and it might be a consulting business. My husband and I were talking about these yesterday. So you might have a consulting business, it might be a training or a mentoring business or e-courses or something like that. Or maybe that's what you want to do. I'm not talking about product-based businesses. So if you want to have a service-based business that has a presence online, then you are still going to have operating costs. All right? This whole bullshit around laptop lifestyle, zero overheads is bullshit. It's not true. Okay, my husband and I were chatting about what my numbers are, and this, you know, it's always a fun conversation. Not on Saturday, we were talking about. He's like, "So what's your break even, Nick? Like, what is it you need to spend? Like, there's really, it's only a few $100 a month, isn't it?" And I've gone like, "I wish." So, in order to make all of this stuff work, right, take out the paid advertising, right? Forget paid advertising, because that cost or that investment is a variable figure. Yeah, you can scale your advertising up, you can scale it down, whatever it is. So the things that you need, the cost of opening your doors, obviously you're going to have a computer. It's very hard to run a business from your phone. You can try, but I wouldn't recommend it. So you need a computer. You're going to need most likely video editing software. Like if you're doing blogs or these, you know, stuff like that. So if you have a Mac, if you have an Apple Mac or iMac or whatever we call them these days, that comes with iMovie in it, which is fantastic. If you're on PC, I don't know what that is. I think it's Camtasia, and I think it'll cost you a couple $100. So you're going to have a way of being able to edit videos. Otherwise, you need to outsource it, and that's going to cost you more money. So it's probably more cost effective for you to have a machine with the software in it, okay? So that's the cost of opening your doors. The other cost of opening your doors, you need to have a CRM. And as I said, you might find one that's really cheap. You might find one that's more expensive. It's up to you. I would start off with one that's probably, I don't know, there's Office Autopilot is really great, also known as Entreport. That's probably a really, it's robust enough for consultants, trainers, mentors, service professionals to use that and like so that we can email market and stuff like that. It's got enough functionality in it without it costing you a absolute shit ton of money. If you're in startup mode, you don't need Infusionsoft, commonly known as Confusionsoft. It is an excellent system. It is what I use. But if you have less than 2,000 subscribers, it's probably not where you want to go. Okay, well, you might. It's up to you. But it's a bigger investment per month for you to have Infusionsoft. I also like the way that I like to structure my infrastructure and my systems. I want to make sure that I can control kind of each silo as it stands. So I personally use lead pages to build my landing pages and everything like that. It is simple, it is easy, and if my CRM goes down for some reason, I can still use that. And if lead pages goes down, my CRM's still okay. So it gives it's almost like a bit of an insurance policy. I've tested out ClickFunnels. I think it's got great functionality. I don't use it personally, and I have found that it's probably a little bit more complicated to wrap your brain around from the front end, particularly if you're not tech-minded. Okay, so CRM, lead pages stuff, you're going to have a website. Actually, you're going to need two. One that will be like your main website, and then another one that we use only for lead generation. Again, it creates an insurance policy. Okay, so you're going to have to pay to register the domain names. You're going to have to pay for hosting. It's the cost of opening your doors. What else have we got? Oh, if you run webinars, then you're going to have to pay for webinar software. I like to create different things within Adobe for signing and client documentation management and stuff like that. If you are going to be sending people checklists and training modules, then you're going to probably have to pay to have a bit more storage in Dropbox or Amazon S3, which I use both depending on what we're doing. So the cost of opening your doors to start with is website, lead generation website, CRM, like that client record management system. You're going to have a lead pages or a ClickFunnels or something like that. Don't do the CRM and the landing pages in one. You just want to have an insurance policy there. So if one goes down, you can still do the other thing. Storage as well, like storage for the documents or for the training materials that you want to email out, because most inboxes, they might flag as spam, or the file might just be too big in order for it to be emailed. So go and put it into Dropbox or something like that and just share the link with people. That's not even including any of the paid stuff, right? So then obviously you've got the paid advertising and stuff like that, which is going to be a variable cost. So the cost of opening your doors realistically is an investment, all right? Some people freak out by the fact that they're going to have to actually go out and pay all of this money to get this stuff set up. You've got to suck it up and just make it happen. You've just got to go and do it. It's like if you were to open up a retail store in a mall or in a shopping center or wherever it is that you're going to sell products, you need to buy the product, you need to buy the shelving, you need to buy the point of sale, you need to get all of the displays and everything like that. You've got to have staff. That's just the cost of opening your doors, plus the rent. Now, admittedly, when you have an online business, the costs are a hell of a lot lower. But there are still some costs that need to be paid in order to make all of that stuff actually work. All right, so that's how you make your marketing funnels and everything like that work. Remember, with niching, it's important to have that down and ready before you do anything else. Otherwise, it's just going to cost you so much time and so much more money. Alrighty, leave your questions, comments below, and I will catch you next Monday on Unstoppable Entrepreneur Live. Talk to you then. Bye.